live view since the inauguration, so hang on tight. Size matters. How Team Trump is slamming the media for lying about attendance at the inauguration, and why their alternative facts don't add up. And check out Whoopi hitting the streets of New York to join the millions who turned out for the historic Women's March. Plus, comedian Cristela Alonzo hits the Hot Topics table. Then, new year, new View Your Deal. And you need to get in on this one. Let's get to Hot Topics with Whoopi, Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, Sarah Haynes, and Jedediah Bila. Now, let's get things started.
So Friday's inauguration made one thing very clear. Our new president really does think size matters. Because photos show that he did not attract the crowd, I guess, that Obama did in 2009, but he insists that about 1.5 million people were there, and the press secretary, Sean Spicer, went even further. Take a look.
This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period, both in person and around the globe. These attempts to lessen the enthusiasm of the inauguration are shameful and wrong.
You know, he should know better. He should know better than to parrot what his boss is telling him to say.
Yeah.
He's the worst one in a way because he does know better. We've met him. He's been here.
Yeah.
He seemed fairly normal.
Well,
yeah.
I think that's what it was so disconcerting to me because, look, our eyes aren't deceiving us, right? I mean, we see the pictures. Crowd scientists have said clearly President Obama had more people at the inauguration. And this press secretary, he's the official, he's a White House official, and he is responsible for disseminating information on behalf of the administration, on behalf of the government. If we can't believe what he is telling us, what can we believe? It's really nothing.
There was
it's really difficult.
To bounce off on what you're both saying, there was a great article at the Weekly Standard, conservative publication online that I read, and it was called Trumpism Corrupts. And it talked about how people like Spicer, you know, they feel the need to do this because the direction is coming from the top.
Yes.
And that is straight from Trump. And they were saying in the article, you know, they were talking about the problems with the Obama administration and whatnot and saying, why are you focused on the crowds? Who cares? And
he
brought
does.
it back. Who cares?
He cares.
The size of a crowd is not the reflection necessarily of a good presidency or a good leader or good ideas, but it pointed back to Trump and said, you know, this is about Donald. So when you see Spicer come out or you see Kellyanne Conway come out and do these things, it's a reflection of him and what the man behind all of that cares about. And what he really cares about is his own ego.
That's
because
right.
that's what
correct.
he's worried about.
On January 4th, Spicer was speaking with former President Obama's senior advisor, David Axelrod, about communication strategy, and he said, quote, "The one thing, whether you're Republican or Democrat or independent, is that you have your integrity." Then he said, "I have never lied." And then he a bit later added, "If you lose the respect and trust of the press corps, you've got nothing."
Who said that?
Spicer.
Spicer did
on
it.
January 4th. And I think this part is the problem that is the most disconcerting, is you've got him coming out here with no correction.
Yeah.
And the part that Trump has been focusing on is how he feels that the media is trying to delegitimize him. Starting out of the gates with a credibility problem and misfacts is what will delegitimize him.
Don't you think that he's? But don't you think that Sean is speaking to Trump's constituency, that 47%?
He may be talking to the constituency, but I don't believe the constituency wants to be lied to either.
Well, they believe that the media is lying.
Well, they do believe that, but you know, the funniest thing, and the place with all of this, is that you can look up online the live feeds of them shooting. You don't have to take the pictures word for it. There are live pieces of film that show it. You know, it's there.
But I think people will say, I think people that don't trust the media will just say, you know what, it's doctored, or
you know
those
what,
are lies
you can say that, but at some point, you either have to decide that you're not going to believe anything, because, you know, Kellyanne Conway coined a new term, and this is what we're talking about. Hold up. Now, well, hold on. Hold on. She's coined a new term for the times we're living in, and I want you to listen very carefully and hear what she says. Show the clip, please.
You did not answer the question of why the president asked the White House press secretary to come out in front of the podium for the first time and utter a falsehood. Why did he do that?
Don't be so overly dramatic about it, Chuck. You're saying it's a falsehood, and they're giving Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts.
It's a good one.
She could not even say it with a straight face. Alternative facts. Well, alternative facts, I don't know. I was raised that an alternative fact is not a fact. An alternative fact is a lie.
It's a lie.
What was,
you know?
Miriam,
I'm sorry. I mean, even people, see, this is the thing. Even people who are for him, this will erode their beliefs.
Because they have eyes.
Because they have
eyes and
have ears, and they're paying attention, and this is not what they bargained for.
Right.
Oh, I don't know. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with it. I think they're going to believe it.
I agree, though, because he's speaking, they're stuck in campaign mode here. They think they're talking to a small majority that's outraged and is, you already won. Now you're speaking to the American people. You're everyone's president now.
Yeah.
And you also have freedom of the press that you have to respect, and you're also accountable to everyone. So when people look and say, you lied about something so stupid like a crowd, they could have come out and said, yeah, you know what? Barack Obama got better crowds than we did, and hopefully we'll do great things with policy, and we'll come through, and people will have our backs.
Hold your breath.
He's never going to do that. He's never going to. But I believe, because I saw what happened over the week. We'll talk about the march in a bit. But I saw what happened, and some of those women who were marching were Trump people. And what a couple of these wonderful women said to me was, you know, he said some things I really, you know, felt were important for our country, and then I saw that all he did was put a lot of, you know, older white men in places, and suddenly now I'm seeing that I'm going to have to fight for the same things that people fought for years
it's a little
ago.
late.
But you know what? People have to understand, this is what you try to pick the person that's right, but you can't just pick somebody because you saw them on TV and they look like they're doing well. You got to do your homework. And for women, for young women, and for people who didn't get out and vote, this weekend was a big eye-opener for folks.
It was. What was surprising to me about Kellyanne Conway, in particular is because she's a pollster. So she deals in numbers. And you could see that she almost threw up a little bit in her mouth when she said the whole alternative fact, because she knows this not to be true. And so why are the people that he is surrounding himself with unwilling to confront him and say, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to say that?
And Spicer said in his own speech, he said no one had the numbers because the National Park Service controls them all, did not release crowd estimates. A few sentences later, he said this was the largest audience ever.
Period.
And he's now sounding like Trump. That's something Trump would say.
When you're a real
You know,
leader,
he can still get out. Get out now, Sean. Get out now.
He can get out.
You said that to
Kellyanne. And I'm saying it to you, Sean. There's time to get out. You'll get a job on CNN.
He has a lot of power. He has a lot of power. I mean, can you imagine if he quit, how much power he would have?
Yeah.
Well,
so he better
why
go
can't
soon, or he's going to erode all his integrity. And if he
can't
wants
he
to be a
just tell
communications
Well, I think that this is a
it's too late,
conversation. This is a conversation for the Republicans as well.
It's too late for
You know, pay attention, because y'all are, you know, you're selling your soul out for something, and I don't think you realize
the price you're paying.
the price that we're going to pay.
I would like to say that I am actually 5'7", 120 pounds, soaking wet. I used to be a runway model, and I'm 25 years old. Okay, that's the alternative facts.
This is fun.
Right, let's just all do alternative facts.
I just want to say,
Whoopi is actually Caucasian.
See, they're not sure either. He'll be right back with more topics.
Whoopi joined the millions who took over cities around the world at Saturday's Women's March. And she's taking you with her next.
So the day after the inauguration, Saturday's historic march had a crowd size to really envy. About 2.6 million people marched in all 50 states in America and in 32 countries around the globe. We hit the streets here in New York, and people came out to march, and it was kind of amazing. Check it out.
Over 400,000 people turned out for the Women's March on New York City. A sea of diversity, and their signs each told the story of why they marched. For women's rights, civil rights, and LGBTQ equality. Whatever the cause, people showed up, stood up, and they damn well spoke up.
Last time I saw this, we were marching in Washington for the quilts. That was the last time where I looked and saw just a sea of people. We're here, they're here, little kids are here because they know something's wrong.
Welcome to the stage, the one, the only, Whoopi
This is on us, every one of us here in this audience, in this march, everywhere around the world. This change is on us. And if we, the people who are here, do not take that to heart and do not understand that we've got to go further than you ever thought you could. Because what's at stake is everything you believe in.
So the women's organizations who considered themselves to be pro-life feminists said that when they tried to march with their signs, and their signs were ripped up and some were even spit on. So, you know, what do you think? Should these women have been allowed to march?
Yes, I think so.
I do. Some of them were saying they were allowed to march, but they weren't allowed to partner. In other words, they wanted to form partnerships with the leadership of the march. And they felt that the march's statement was a pro-choice statement, coming out and saying, we are pro-choice. And a lot of these women spoke to me. I happen to be pro-choice, but I understand the sentiments of a lot of these pro-life women who say, you know what, we had a problem with Donald Trump's misogyny. We had a problem with a lot of what he was saying. We had a problem with the way he treated women. And for our daughters and for our mothers and for ourselves, we wanted to march. And we didn't want to make this about pro-choice versus pro-life, but we wanted to make it about a coming together moment for women. And they felt excluded and like they weren't wanted there. And that hurt me as a woman, because I want us all to be able to stand together against things like misogyny and against things that we should all be a united front against. And in that moment, we could have all come together. And the fact that people who were pro-life, who in their minds feel that they're standing up for women in their own way, that they're standing up for the rights of women as they see it and the rights of unborn children who one day may be women, I wanted them all to come together.
Here's the hard thing, I think, because, you know, with all of the attacks on Planned Parenthood and all that, you know, one of the things that I always want to say to everyone is nobody wants to have an abortion.
Right, yeah.
You know, it's not an easy thing to decide to do. And part of the problem, I think, is sometimes people, when they say, you know, I'm speaking for the unborn, basically when you say something like that to somebody, you're saying your God doesn't matter. You haven't thought about this, and I'm thinking for you.
Or you don't matter.
And you don't matter
this matters more.
Because I need you to just do what I tell you. And what's funny is all of those women who don't believe in abortion, you don't have to ever have one. But the women who may need it, Those are the women we're trying to make sure that they have, because not everybody's rich.
But you know, you can be pro-life and I'm sorry, I think I'm probably one of the, exactly, but as a Catholic, you know, my faith informs me, and I believe that life begins at conception, and I don't believe in abortion. But I do also believe that the government doesn't have the right to tell you what to do. Or tell what you want to do. So they're not mutually exclusive.
I just said that.
Opportunity for me to have. I would have liked to. I like to talk to these women because I want to ask them: are you for guns in the school? Are you for capital punishment? Because you will kill somebody. How do you feel about war? There's a lot of different ways to kill in this world.
But if you
so
watch
why focus on just that one area?
It's
faith-based for me. It's faith-based for I think a lot that are pro-life.
And
but
I respect that as long as you don't impinge upon my rights.
Exactly. But there are a lot of people that are pro-life that don't feel that that a woman should not have a right to choose. There are, and I think that's a big misconception with the pro-life movement. Everybody thinks that if you're pro-life, you are anti-choice, and that's not necessarily true.
As it turns out, a lot of these women did get to march. A lot of them did get to march, and I think the biggest problem people had was with the signage, because when you say, you know, we don't believe in Planned Parenthood, that's a tough one.
That is.
In the middle of the march. So,
you know, what's the matter? Gotta go.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
Still ahead, inaugural brawl. Who President Trump targeted in his address? Could it backfire on him big time? Still ahead, comedian Cristela Alonzo hits the Hot Topics table. And new year, new View Your Deal. We partnered with vendors for half off awesome items that'll keep your New Year's resolution on track and help you kick back.
you know, we're just talking, and I think the biggest thing about the march was it basically said, listen, we're watching you. And we are a giant group of people. People said, well, why didn't they come out before? Because a lot of people wanted to see if he was going to be, you know, if he was going to do the right thing. So I think these people who marched to say, we now are going to make sure that if you don't have our best interests at heart, we're taking you out. You're not going to be our congressman or senator. We're not going to do that. I think that's what these women are saying. And there's been so much talk around the inauguration. People may forget what he actually said in the address. Here's his view of America right now. Take a look.
Mothers and children trapped in poverty in our inner cities. Rusted out factories scattered like tombstones across the landscape of our nation. And the crime, and the gangs, and the drugs that have stolen too many lives and robbed our country of so much unrealized potential. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now.
Well, you know, if you use the word carnage to describe this country, then whatever you do looks good, right? This is part of his plan. I'm going to say everything's awful, and then I'm going to fix it bigly.
Sounded like the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
And by the way, he inherited a robust economy. He inherited a low unemployment. He inherited quite a few things. ISIS is on the run. They got Osama bin Laden. We're in pretty good shape in this country. He makes it like, what happened to this country? We're okay. I mean...
I thought was that you also didn't hear a message of unification. He didn't mention how divisive the election was.
Yeah.
And what I loved was in Obama's victory speech, he said, to those Americans who support I have yet to earn, I may not have won your vote tonight, but I hear your voices, I need your help, and I will be your president too. Why didn't Trump say something like that?
He's never going to say that.
He can't say it.
Well, I mean, to follow on your point, though, Joy, the one thing I will say is I think a lot of people are struggling across the country, or he wouldn't have won. I think one of the reasons he got elected is because there are people out there that when they listen to that say, you know what, my premiums went up. I've been out of a job. I've been working 2 and 3 jobs for X, Y, and Z.
True.
So I think he was speaking to, in that segment, the people who voted for him because they're looking for someone to acknowledge their predicament and say, you know what, someone sees that I've been suffering.
That he did that plenty during the campaign. Now this is a different period of time.
I think that the flip side of the speech where he tried to unify, in my opinion, was when he tried to say America first, when he tried to say a power to the people theme, anti-establishment.
America first,
That's
an old alt-right theory.
It is. It is.
Why use that? Why use that?
I don't know.
It's an anti-Semitic old phrase from the 30s.
I don't know why he chose that, but I think the part of the speech, the only part of the speech that really resonated with me was a power to the people theme of Washington is disconnected from people. They're not listening to you. I'm here to make sure that they
and
do.
He's lying to
it. That's the part of the speech. That's the part of the speech, though, that resonated with me, and why I could say, you know what? I get why the people who voted for him. That's why they did it. They thought he was going to help out with that.
Well, let's see if he does. It would be nice if he does.
The missing link is he has yet to speak to the people that didn't vote for him. And I think what I kept hearing is I did read a lot after the speech about people saying, well, he tried to strike a unifying tone. This wasn't good enough for me for the very reason that he already has that support. What I hear him saying in the subtext is, if you didn't support me, I don't support you.
Yes,
right.
And that's it.
Yeah,
exactly right.
Yeah, and this just bothers me because I'm a bonehead. But when they pulled up to the White House, and he got out of the car, and just went walking up the steps, didn't wait for his wife.
No, where's Melania?
I mean, and here she come trying to rush and trying to get there. And look, you know what?
I'm with you on that.
To me, it's important to see a gentleman with his wife.
But he doesn't respect his wife.
Why would he respect his wife? But I just, I get it. But I mean, that's your wife, and you're trying to get us to embrace everything, and you can't be courteous. I don't understand that. That's your wife.
This is a man who says he grabs women by their genitals. You expect him to be a gentleman? He's not.
Well, I expect him to respect his wife if he's going to come out here and tell me how important she is to us.
Then watch President Obama and the way he deals with his wife.
That's the point.
That's a gentleman.
That was the point, boy. That's the point. I want to see some. If I want my son, to be a gentleman, I want to see it from the top.
Yeah. Well, I agree. And good luck. Yeah, after the debates, too, just to point out, that was one of the things a lot of women had written in, and I saw them, tweeting on social media saying that after the debates, he walked off the stage and she was just somewhere back here.
Yeah.
And I noticed it, too.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Some of the signs from the march were free Melania.
Well, we're in it now, y'all. We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. This is Christelle Alonso. I'm about to hang out with the ladies. In case you didn't know, I actually wrote the musical Hamilton. These are not lies. These are alternative facts.
Here talking because, I'm just going to throw myself in here. It's Christella. The fabulous Christella Alonso, my girl.
I love your intro. Look, guys, this is Christella.
But because we're talking about the march, talk about the march. You were in Washington.
I went to the march in D.C. And
you're so cute.
I went, this is me, and actually, I wore this pin for Dolores Huerta, who is actually a very famous Latina activist that everybody should know.
Yes.
She wanted to attend the march, and she couldn't because she was actually showing a documentary at Sundance based on her life. She wanted to be there, so I wore the pin just in spirit because I wanted to support her because she's done amazing work.
Yes.
DC. I was just saying to the ladies here at the table, women talk about sisterhood, and this weekend was the first time I felt it.
Yeah.
I felt it on such a genuine level. I took the Amtrak from New York to DC, and everyone on the train was a woman.
Wow.
We told each other, we were asking each other, we were going to the march. Everybody said yes. Everybody clapped. You know what was interesting, though? It was a 3-hour train ride. And we were also giddy, energetic at the beginning. And then what we realized throughout the trip, so many of us started telling stories about why we were going to the march.
That's right.
Wow.
And that was eye-opening. Because it was that thing where we started out happy, and then after like first, second hour, we're like, let me tell you what happened to me.
Yeah.
But see,
You know what I mean? And it was like waiting to exhale, like kind of moment, like let's light these things on fire. We're walking
because,
out.
you know, a lot of people don't remember. A lot of young people don't remember what the country was like before all of these fights that we've had to have for years. And so to see all these young women, because I never felt part of the feminist movement, but I felt like...
Absolutely.
Yes.
But you were saying, and this was maybe, I got an email from a pro-life group that said that the march's official platform called for open access to safe, legal, affordable abortion and birth control for all people. And
not true.
But you're telling me that's not necessarily true. It was a multi-platform.
Not true. Not true. I was there from the beginning to the end. I'm friends with some of the women that organized the march. And I will tell you, I sat through the entire thing. There were about 30 speakers the entire day. And what we talked about was equal rights, equal pay, immigration, how we were going to protect each other and like call things out when we saw things wrong. It wasn't anything like that, and I don't like people talking about it because that's not true. And you know, and how dare you try to demonize and change something that we actually supported. Look, I was disappointed in November. I mean, I was bitter at people that didn't show up and vote. I mean, I was bitter. But you know what? You got to get over it, because right now I need all the help we can get to change this country into the right direction.
That's right. And to remind the politicos that we know who you are. And if you don't support us, we're not putting you back in office.
And also,
we're not going to do it.
Can we talk about how important it is? I mean, for me, my work right now, I want to focus on empowering young adults and children and teach them at an early age how important it is to vote. Because the problem is, we are so disillusioned as a country. And social media doesn't help, because children listen, they read, they see what people are saying, and if you're negative as adults, what are you teaching the kids? You're teaching them that the system is broken and there's nothing they can do. What we have to do is put in the work and realize change might not happen in our lifetime, but that doesn't mean we don't do the work.
Well, and Crystal, you use your comedy as a platform to ignite change and energy. And right now, your new comedy special is called Lower Classy, which I love. And you have great material about coming from an immigrant family. And the wall.
And well, you know, here's the thing.
The wall.
The wall. We know it by just the wall.
Trump's gonna build a wall. First of all, doesn't he know we use tunnels now? I mean, okay?
Or planes. Or planes.
Did you see that tunnel Chapo had? It looked like a Disneyland ride. There was a Starbucks there. I'm like, okay. For me, so let's say that you build a wall. Build it all the way to California. What's next? What's after California? The ocean. Okay, we'll swim. I don't care. Like, what he's doing is just building like a triathlon of immigrants. Because you gotta swim, you gotta run towards the wall, you gotta climb it, and first place is freedom. That's what he's doing.
I'm telling you, right? It's crazy.
Your laugh makes me happy.
For me, it was important. I call the special Lower Classy because I talk about coming from a poor family. Because I feel like we don't talk about people like that enough. You know, and that's the thing that it kind of leads into like the political climate that we're in right now. We have so many people talking about certain lives, certain peoples that they've personally never met. You know, it's like until you put a heart and soul to these people, you can't really criticize them because you don't know what's happening. So I called it Lower Classy because I want to tell people I'm doing fine right now. I didn't start off that way. And that my story is the story of so many people. And if I can't tell that story on a TV show or whatever, I'm doing it by myself and I'm doing it on, you know, I'm putting it out.
This is what we do. This is what we do. You know, we have a clip. You know, we love a clip on this show. So this is a clip from your special.
Okay.
Take a look.
I recently bought the Zumba DVDs. Now, there's a Zumba DVD set that comes with maracas.
You know what? It is always a pleasure to see you. It's always a pleasure. You are one of the funniest women on the face of the earth. And so we thank you. You know, this, her special, Lower Classy, begins streaming on Netflix tomorrow. So do yourself a favor. And if you can ever get out to see her live, you gotta go do it. You gotta do it. We'll be right back.
Do you have any New Year's resolutions to keep? Don't worry. We've got everything you need today on View Your Deal. From workout wear to eating healthy, we've partnered with vendors for up to 50% off everything. So get your butt back here fast.
So is your New Year's resolution already hanging by a thread? We are here to help because we partner with vendors for half-off items that will help you stick with it and reward yourself for a job well done, but it's only while supplies last. So let's get shopping with lifestyle expert Greta Monahan.
Hi! Here we are. I love it. Here we are again. We're kicking off the new year. We're going to keep those healthy habits going with all these deals. Check it out, RBX Active. I know you have it on, I have it on. I love this because it's very high quality activewear, and it obviously has really cool mesh and really nice vents to keep you ventilated, but it's also great to wear every day. You can go and grab a coffee. That's why I styled it with a little something else.
Cute. Mine never looks like that.
You don't have to put it in a separate drawer just to work out.
Yeah.
Super comfy, really, really great, and very slimming and very flattering. You can see the little insets on the pants.
Well, and I have to say that wearing cuter clothes does help you work out because I used to wear old camp t-shirts and I never made it through January.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
And this way you do not have to break the bank today. Also sizes, small to 3X, really great.
Oh, that's awesome.
So original deal on these, $25 to $38. Today's deal, $12.50 to $19. 50% off, right? I love this. Fit and fresh lunch bags and portion control containers. Check it out. So a lunch bag comes with, they come all ages from kids to adults.
Cute.
Zip up and go, but also they're filled with containers that have little measurements on them for easy portion control.
Well, you can see the ounces and the cups.
And you can go on and select any size you want separately, but check this out. Ice pack in the top of the lid on some of them.
That's
you have
so
to choose
cute.
the ones you want, which just makes you be able to pack your lunch, save money, and save time.
That's so
Original price on these, you guys, $20 to $30. Today's deal, $10 to $15. 50% off. Ascali bathroom and kitchen scales. These are so cool. If you're really serious, you measure dry and wet goods right in here. Bowl ready to go, and also very cool, amazing scales that just slip in.
Crushed that one.
Because we know knowing your numbers helps us stay healthy. All right.
Look how pretty
Original,
these are.
$40 to $90. Today's deal, $20 to $45 for a savings of 50%. Okay. Okay, so I love Nug Beauty was voted one of Allure's best products. They love it, the editors and the experts. These are little individual pods with masks for every skin type. You get 3 to 6 treatments each set, so it's super affordable. Original price on these, $12 to $18. Today's deal, get $6 to $9. These
are so cute.
Per set.
Is this the take it on the go kind of thing?
They go anywhere. They're pre-measured
in your gym
it's
bag.
a no-brainer. 5 to 15 minutes, your skin glows.
Okay.
The other one, Blue Star.
These are my favorite. I love adult coloring books.
All right, you guys, put the phones down, devices, get off Twitter, because this is the way to creatively calm down.
It's very
These
zen.
are super zen, really healthy to do. We know kids color for that reason, but it's back to doing this for adults. These have got a lot of buzz.
It's like meditation.
Absolutely. Original price on these, $15 to $20. Today's deal, $7.50 to $10 for a savings of 50%. 7 different books, animals, fashion, beautiful patterns. I put them on my coffee table. People love them.
They're so cute.
Art
Interactive
Naturals
coffee table.
essential oils.
Oh, I have these in
aromatherapy. This is the ultra chill out, you guys. Look at this diffuser, Sarah.
This is pretty.
Bluetooth enabled, so that you can listen to your favorite music and fill your room. So original deal, $13 to $59. Today's deal, $6.50 to $29.50, and free shipping. You love that.
I love free shipping.
Amazing.
You had me at free shipping.
Aromatherapy kits that make it so easy.
I do this so my house smells like a spa. Isn't it amazing when you do that?
My husband loves it.
It makes all the difference. Well, our thanks to Greta Monahan. The clock is ticking, people. You have 24 hours to grab any of these exclusive deals, and members of the audience are going home with RBX Active Capri Pants and Blue Star coloring books. We'll be right back. I love
I know we only have a minute, but how crazy was the CIA stuff? I mean,
oh my goodness.
all those tweets that Donald put out saying, you know, you guys are, you know, Nazis,
Yeah.
this and that. And then he went over there and he's like, no, I never said that. I really felt like, you know, it's the media that's doing this. You know, Donald, we can actually still get your tweets on your website, on your tweets site.
He also said something along the lines of, I'm going to back you. There's going to be so much backing. In fact, you're going to say, I don't need to be backed so much. It's like, they should have an app that you can put in your own sentence and it comes out as
He said,
Trump.
are we living in Nazi
And
Germany?
it must be said that he was standing in front of a wall that commemorated the victims and soldiers and the fallen CIA officials, and he didn't really talk much about that.
You know,
He just talked about himself.
Maybe he has, you know, a memory problem. You know what I mean?
No.
Maybe he's. No?
He just likes to. He thinks everybody's dumb. Like everybody just hears him and is like, oh, that's what's happening. Okay, Donald. Anytime we have eyes, we have
You know,
ears.
if you want to be a good liar, you've got to have a photographic memory and a photogenic.
If you want to be
face.
if you want to be a good liar,
really
don't
need-
tweet.
You've got to have a memory.
Yeah, because your Twitter, you know, your
Yeah.
Twitter account is up, but you know they gave him a BlackBerry, I think, that doesn't have Twitter on it. And
Really?
yeah, I believe that could be wrong. Have a great day and take a little time to enjoy the view. At least that's what I heard.